Changing the game for a new generation is my heart. It's my passion. It is why I breathe. And I tell you, as a physician, I get to see families. I get to see pain. I get to see illness. And so it comes a point in life where even though you are doing everything you can to help individuals and helping families, when you look around you and see that the ills of your community is even greater, then I have to stop and say, okay, what can I do, God? What would you have me to do? And so changing the game for a new generation is the answer that God gave me. And I implore that you hear what we say today and hear and see what we do tonight to understand why it's important that you too be a part of this solution. Changing the game for a new generation is entirely designed, and the initiative is designed to see the generational cycle of violence stop in the Black community. And people say, well, why the Black community? Isn't that a problem everywhere? And I have to answer it like this. As a physician, if I see a major problem, if you are bleeding somewhere, let's just say you have a bleeding ulcer, and I say to you as a doctor, you have a bleeding ulcer in your stomach. What good would it be for me to fix your leg if the ulcer is bleeding in your stomach? I have to be very specific to where the problem is. The Black community is still a Black community because Martin Luther King's dream has yet to be realized. We still are segregated. There's still poverty. There's still disenfranchisement. And because of that, what we have within those communities are children living in circumstances that are creating more and more problems. You see crime, violence, and violence is huge inside the home and outside the home, and that's brought into the classroom. So I realize that changing the game for a new generation is not something that is going to solve all the problems, but I promise you that if we work together, we will make a difference. Project I Am came from the concept of realizing that children are the greatest casualties of the street warfare that we see in our nation today. The street warfare of street entrepreneurship, of drug dealing, of home invasions, of the violence that our children are seeing in their home and in their communities. They are casualties of that warfare because they're failing. They're failing in school because that internal conflict that they have in their home and in their neighborhoods are brought to their schools. And so what ends up happening is that these children are failing in school and they're failing in life. So Project I Am. I love that. We know who I Am is. But in this particular title, it is inspiring amazing minds. That's our job. It's our job to influence our children. It's our job to protect our children. It's our job to motivate our children. It's our job to hold our children, to nurture our children, and to teach them not only who they are, but what they can become. That's what Project I Am is doing. We're talking about 4 modules. Very simple, 4 modules. They can go anywhere. But in particular, we want them in the public school while children are in school. We believe in education. We believe in public education. But wherever our children are, that is where we want to be with Project I Am. 4 modules. The first one is called, Who Am I? That's the question we want to answer. The second one is called His Story, My Story. History, His Story. So global Black history is a part of the project all over from beginning to end, but this second module, it's really, really concentrated on. The third one is called If I Can See It, I Can Be It. That's where our STEAM and STEM is all about. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and we bring people who represent those disciplines in for our children to see and appreciate. They get to see themselves be astronauts, mathematicians, entrepreneurs, business owners, doctors, lawyers, fire chiefs, They get to see themselves and don't have to depend on thinking that success means being an athlete. There was nothing wrong with being an athlete, and we do that well. But what percentage of our children actually make it to the NFL, that actually make it to the NBA? And then what? That's the question. So if I can see it, I can be it, answers those questions. And then our fourth module, remember the first one was who am I? The fourth one is I know who I am. And it's a summary of everything that our children have experienced that entire year. 1 year with us, nurturing teachers. Teachers who are either retired or still teachers. People who we have trained, people who we have picked, people who we know will make a difference with our children. We want them to pour into the lives of our children. And that is what they will do. All we need is an hour a week. An hour a week. And we're going to change a generation. This has to be in every school in this country. Because we can't change a generation unless we touch a generation. So join me with Changing the Game for a New Generation in Project I Am. We will make a difference. And you can help us do it.